I'm gonna have fun with this one. Ooh, Donald Trump is being sued by two Capitol Police officers, although more is to come when it comes to what happened on January 6th. Now, I'm going to read sections of the lawsuit, not all of it, because it's 41 pages long. But let's talk about the complaint first. Reading directly from the lawsuit, this is a complaint for damages by the U.S. Capitol Police officers for physical and emotional injuries caused by the defendant, Donald Trump, his wrongful conduct in inciting a riot on January 6, 2021 by his followers to overturn the 2020 presidential election. Well, since we tried to impeach him, I got no problem with this at all, because obviously the police officers who were involved in this, they need to get something out of it. They nearly died that day. One did die, and a lot of others were injured. But the lawsuit that's already been made public, here's the parties. The plaintiffs, officers James Berrigan, I'm sorry, if I mess up their names, I apologize. James Berrigan and Sidney Humbly are Capitol Police officers. They are both residents of Maryland. The defendant, Donald J. Trump, was the 45th president of the United States from January 20th to 2017 to January 20th, 2021, and he's a resident of Florida. I don't know why they had to mention all that about Trump. We know who the son of a bitch is, but let's move on. Here's the factual background of this lawsuit. PFC James Berrigan is a 17-year veteran of the U.S. Capitol Police. PFC Sidney Humbry is an 11-year veteran of the U.S. Capitol Police. Both Capitol Police officers report for duty on January 6, 2021, without any suspicion that they would soon be the targets of Trump's followers. Those followers had assembled in Washington at Trump's calling for a rally at the White House Ellipse that quickly evolved into a violent insurrection at the Capitol. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That little rally of his, that Stop the Steal rally, where he used the word peaceful only once in his entire speech. Yeah. Moving on this, the insurrectionists were spurred on by Trump's conduct over many months in getting his followers to believe his false allegation that he was about to be forced out of the White House because of the massive election fraud by his presidential adversary, the now President Joe Biden, and the convening of Congress on January 6th to count the Electoral College results and declared the winner was the last chance to, quote, stop the steal, unquote. Oh boy, stop the steal. Moving on. The insurrectionist mob, which Trump had inflamed, encouraged, incited, directed, and aided and abetted, forced its way over the past the plaintiffs and their fellow officers, pursuing and attacking them inside and outside the U.S. Capitol and causing injuries. He's complained herein. Why are we surprised at this? This guy has been doing this for months. We knew it was going to happen. Sooner or later, these people were going to snap. Moving on, as a result of Trump's speech on January 6, 2021, his conduct and statements leading up to and on that date, and his failure on that date to timely take action to stop his followers from continued violence at the Capitol, Trump committed the torts that resulted in injuries to United States Capitol Police officers and Metropolitan Police Department officers, including the plaintiffs. These torts include directing assault and battery, aiding and abetting assault and battery, directing intentional infliction of emotional distress. There's liability per se for violation of DC Code subsection 22-13-22, which is incitement to riot, and liability per se for violation of DC Code subsection 22-13-21, disorderly conduct. Well, yeah, that all fits with what Trump did. That really fits. Moving on, it goes up to this section to Trump's conduct leading up to the 2020 presidential election. Now, this is where everyone needs to pay strict attention. Turn the volume up. During his 2016 campaign and throughout his presidency, Trump had threatened violence towards his opponents, encouraged his followers to commit acts of violence, and condoned acts of violence by his followers, including white supremacists and right-wing hate groups. Trump's stoking of violence by his followers accelerated during the 2020 presidential campaign. During the first presidential debate, held on September 29, 2020, Trump repeatedly asserted without any evidence that the election would be fraudulent and rigged. These are direct quotes from Donald Trump, in case you guys want to question me on it. Let me get my Trump voice ready. There's fraud. They found them ballots in creeks. They found some just happened in the name Trump. Just on the other day in a waste paper basket. There's going to be fraud like you've never seen. It's a rigged election. This is not going to end well. Asked during the first presidential debate by moderator Chris Wallace to condemn white supremacists and right-wing hate groups, Trump responded, "Proud Boys, stand back and stand by." Minutes later, the chairman of the Proud Boys, Enrique Tarrio, posted a message on Parler, a social networking service popular among extremist groups, saying, "Standing by, sir." That's a direct quote from him. "Standing by, sir," on Parler. The Proud Boys would go on to be the core group of the January 6th insurrectionists. Wallace then asked if Trump would urge his supporters to stay calm following the election and not to engage in any civil unrest. Trump replied, "If it's a fair election, I am 100% on board, but I see tens of thousands of ballots being manipulated. I can't go along with that," unquote. When Wallace was then asked if that meant he was going to tell your people to take to the streets, Trump did not directly respond, but said, the Democrats, they cheat. They cheat. Hey, I found ballots in waste paper baskets 3 days ago. And they had all the military ballots. They were military. That they had all... I'm sorry. I can't go on with this crap. I just can't. Now, the lawsuit continues on with going over exactly what these officers went through. Moving on with this section, Officer Hembley was attacked relentlessly. He was bleeding from a cut located less than an inch from his eye. He had cuts and abrasions on his face and hands, and his body was pinned against a large metal door, fending off attacks. His primary focus was to survive and go home. So we're supposed to just let this go? Trumpers, I'm asking the question to you. We're supposed to just let this go? Not gonna happen. And then it goes on to this section here. And it's pretty bad. It's really bad. Now excuse my language while I read this. Inside the Capitol, the insurrectionists continued to physically attack Capitol Police while taunting them, saying, among other things, and I quote, "You're outnumbered. There is a fucking million of us out there." and we're listening to Trump, your boss, we can take you out. And we were invited here by the President of the United States. Those sentences right there should just destroy Trump in this lawsuit. But it only gets worse. The last section I want to read to you, you're going to hate me for this, for saying this, for repeating this. But you need to hear it, because this is exactly what happened on January 6th. Then a forceful surge of the insurgents pushed forward and slammed Officer Bezgain against a stone column. He struck his spine in the back of his head and was unable to move. For the first time in his life, people were yelling to his face, calling him a nigger, repeatedly and throughout the attack in the crypt. He lost count about how many times he heard the racial slur hurled at him. So much for Blue Lives Matter, right? I haven't heard, you know what? That puzzles me. I haven't heard a single member of Blue Lives Matter talk about this, talk about the attack on the Capitol, talk about the officer who died, the officers who were assaulted and injured. I haven't heard anything from Blue Lives Matter about this attack on January 6th. Why? Because you think they deserved it? Or they didn't do it, or you're not supporting them because they didn't kill a black man or another person of color, or because Donald Trump, you support Donald Trump. So Blue Lives Matter, where are you? I already got to that before in the previous video. I'm not going to get to that too much now, but Donald Trump, your best bet right now is to pay. Now, you may not be able to go to prison. Now, that's a very bad thing for us, for you not to go to jail, which you should be doing. But pay. Sell this out of court, because if you do go to court, those hundreds of zeros behind how much you make, that's going to go down to 1 zero. Because you're lucky that I am not the one suing your ass. You are so lucky, because I will break every single one of you down. Not just you, Trump. I'm going to break your sons down, because they encouraged it as well. I'm going to break your daughter down, because she encouraged it as well. In fact, they spoke on January 6th. I'm surprised that they're not named in this lawsuit. And like I said before, these are just 2 cops suing them. The number of cops that are going to be coming after Trump is going to be increased. And I'm going to love every single fucking moment of it. You attacked our democracy, our country. You're no better than the assholes who killed hundreds of thousands of people on September 11th. Am I supposed to ignore that because you happen to be American? No. Am I supposed to ignore that because you happen to be the former president? Hell no. You think you're getting away with this because your last name happens to be Trump? Hell, emphatically no. Trump, sell this out of court, son, before you destroy yourself. In fact, I hope you do destroy yourself, Trump, fighting this. Because when it's over, and trust me, it's going to be over, I don't think you're going to have a chance in hell of surviving after this is over. I don't think you're going to be running for any kind of office when it's over. But for now, just add this lawsuit to the list. What does it make? 30, 35 lawsuits against you, Trump? Just add it to the list. And I hope to God you have enough money to pay them all. Because it's just going to keep getting worse for you. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left. Justice to the right.